Welcome to Sleeping
another
at the
episode.
Res.
Sleeping at the res. And that's not a bad idea. Want to sleep at the res today, honey?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, how
I
about
have
we
my
just
blankies.
driving? How about,
Welcome to another episode
of Sleeping at the Res.
With your
Tricked me.
with your favorite
You want to
host.
change our podcast name to Sleeping on the Res instead
No.
of Driving to the Res?
No, I
driving.
was just messing.
You were messing with me.
Yeah, I was. Because you've been trying to mess with me the past 2 weeks. I got
And
you
didn't work.
good.
You got me good because I even said it.
Yes.
I kind of thought, ooh, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should change the name. Sabotage. Start all over.
Start all over.
How come we have it named Driving to the Res anyway?
You don't remember?
Of course I remember. How about everybody else?
I don't know. Did I remember?
It seems a bit of a strange title, honestly, considering our topics, you know.
Driving to the res.
Right.
Well, we're a couple of engines, so why shouldn't we drive to the res?
Well, that's one thing probably people don't
No,
necessarily know.
that's true. Yeah.
We do live on the res, on a boat, in a trailer.
Yes. Yes. And a boat and a trailer.
On a boat and a trailer.
Yeah.
And driving to the res because we spend a lot of time at our shaman shack,
Yes.
which is an
outside.
event center.
Yes.
And,
It's
you know,
outside the res.
it has our chickens and our dogs at it, so we
Yep.
spend a lot of time there because we love our chickens and our dogs. And we have events and we love our people, our
Yeah.
tribe. And we love our tribe, so we drive to the res.
Yes.
So, you know, we have a full life.
We do.
And if you think there's limits around houses and where you can live, I think we're pushing the boundaries quite a few times.
I don't have any limits.
No limits on me. It's funny though, I do have a drive to build a structure, a bigger structure here on our land at the res.
Yes, that would be nice.
But, honestly, it's been hamstrung by quite a few things, including guidances from Gaia.
Yes, we've been guided to hold on it.
Hold off.
Hold off for a bit.
For
A couple
a
of
bit.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, we always test a bit. How long is more? How many more bits do we need to hold on, and why?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
That is true.
there's a couple of reasons why. One of the primary reasons why, in my messaging, is that similar to why you needed to get out of California, it's the energy being here would alter something that shouldn't be.
Yes.
It would create the wrong circumstances, or circumstances against the will of others, or something like that.
Yeah, the will of the people.
Yeah, they have a very strong desire for a certain experience, and your presence
Ruins it.
ruins it. Which is kind of why our shaman shack is basically in the middle of the woods,
Yeah, but it's
Much-
also in the heart of the
heart of the territory.
The Maca territory.
It is in the heart.
It's not in the res, but it's in the heart of the territory.
Yeah, it does, in my mind, count as the heart of the territory. Yeah. Definitely. So, when we say we're driving to the res, we're usually driving from the shaman shack
the
to
res.
our boats or
Yes.
our land,
Yes.
or the beach,
Or the beach.
Strawberry Rock,
Ooh,
or the
yeah,
river,
it's beautiful.
or
Strawberry Rocks where Archangel.
Archangel Michael hung out.
No, Gabriel.
Gabriel, that's right.
Yes.
Gabriel, and you sat on a rock.
Yes, we did. Not on Strawberry Rock, but at one of the smaller rocks,
One of the rocks next to it, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't really like climbing on it. I can't really get you up there.
No, I don't really like it. The
It's a
path
little
is so
slippery
tiny
and it's so
slippery.
narrow and
Yeah,
it's a
I don't
long
really
ways
like
down on
to
either side.
rocks.
Yes.
There's sharp rocks at the bottom.
Right. You are
I
not,
prefer not to.
you're not a fan of that.
No.
But if you want to hear about the story, Interview with an Angel
Yes.
has it in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Very nice.
Very excellent book. That book is interesting too, for a lot of reasons, right?
Why?
Well, because when you start encountering or interacting with angels, your emotional body begins to become overwhelmed.
Yes, indeed.
And it's an interesting thing to experience. It's a little bit like, I don't know what it's like. You kind of have to experience it.
Yeah.
When you experience it, you know it, you recognize it. But you read that book, you connect with those angels, that angelic energy, and your emotional body will no question, become filled.
Yeah, filled. Yeah.
Filled to capacity, you know.
Yes.
And usually you'll experience things like tears or overwhelming joy that you just don't know how to even express. It's just beyond full. You know, it's beyond full. I don't know what that word would be.
Know, right?
Saturated with love.
Yeah.
That might be the way.
Yeah.
And the love that we're talking about here is unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
Which love is the same word as the romantic love. That's an interesting thing to talk about. We're right now doing love, sex, and relationships in the new paradigm. Is that what it's called, or what?
Yeah. No, it's just that. Yeah, but it's like this course has been out since 2013.
2013. That's almost 10 years.
Yes, it's absolutely amazing. Actually, we did it together for the very first time when I was bringing in all the information.
When it was brand new.
You were part of the group that was there to receive it.
I know. I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to listen to it and do the work. Yeah, 2 hours and 2.5 hours of class every day for 6 days in a row, getting up at 5 o'clock and 5:30 to do it.
That was pretty cool.
And being pushed into altered states and snoring on the class and things like that.
You did snore in the class.
I remember one day the class was really, really fast.
That was pretty funny.
It does happen when you're doing your classes that occasionally you'll find yourself in an altered state and your physical body is turned off, but I think your soul body, your higher self, is like wide alert, or, you know, is attention of your higher self, soul body type of thing is like so focused on this data that it forgets about the body. The body, go to sleep. I got to listen here. What do you think?
No.
Well, it sounds good, right?
Sounds really good, but it's what I found is when the person starts getting close to a breakthrough and some of those limiting programs start getting pushed to breaking point, often the person will fall asleep so that they can...
Their conscious reality doesn't get broken too hard.
Yeah. That's what I find. It's interesting. Yeah.
It is interesting.
What's fascinating me, at Walk With Me Now, somebody started a study group, and it's an important class, a really important class, because it's not just about finding a soulmate, you know, or finding a partner. It's not about just the romantic relationship, but it deconstructs the whole thing in a way that is very positive and very empowering, because energies such as romance, love, sexuality, all these energies have been hijacked and taken away from you, from the individual, and used by the power over others crowd to control the masses, right? So by deconstructing those programs, you take back your power, you take back your ability and your conscious decisions, and you take back love, you take back relationship, and you're able to then have these amazing connection with that significant other, really, really outstanding connection and marriage and family and foreverness, you know. That is just not something that a person can do coming from unconscious programming.
Right. Because I think like towards the end of the course, end of the class, the first class anyway, you say...
The first class is called Falling in Love.
Yeah, when you fall in love, you trigger a ton of programs that are placed in you by society, your upbringing, religion, all of the things that were placed there by, I guess, whoever it is that desires to power over others in society, right? I want a good, strong workforce, so that needs this and this and that and the other thing, right? Yeah. And so we put in place these programs in our children that result in a great workforce, for example, because things like land is great, but it's useless unless you have workers on it, right? So how do you get workers on it?
Yep.
Because, I mean, come on. So there's a bit of social engineering involved in our societies.
A lot.
There's a lot?
Oh yeah, social engineering. Every single thing that you can think about, what you might think marriage is or love is, or falling in love, all that is engineered.
Well,
right?
It's genuine, but it's also
That's why I said think.
Yeah, everything you think.
Yeah. Because the feelings are true.
They're genuine.
Right? Yeah,
right.
they're real. When you fall in love, you really do fall in love. When you love somebody, you're in love with somebody. You really are in love with that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you've built a relationship from that base of pure love, your essence, that relationship can last forever, literally, not just one lifetime. It can literally last.
Wow, that's serious commitment there.
Thousands of lifetimes, right?
Right.
In a very high frequency way. Or just one lifetime if that's what you choose.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the choice part, the conscious choice part. So, yeah, that is real. Mm-hmm. But what's not real is everything that's been programmed into it to control you, to limit you, to disempower you through it. Through the falling in love process, through the being in love process, through the wanting to start families or getting pets or living together, through all that, right? The programs have been putting through that to control you. That's what we deconstruct in the course. And then the person can be liberated, free to be able to find and even see people who are actually compatible in a much more kind of joined, going to oneness with them way.
Yeah, right. How many times have you seen people invisible to each other?
Oh my God, always. It's
really?
So hilarious. It's hilarious. I mean, even you and me, we didn't see each other. Maybe you saw me, but I didn't see you in one little bit. I don't think you saw me, because you were always falling in love with other women when we first knew each other. So, I don't think we saw each other at all.
Not as romantic partners.
Exactly, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
As possible romantic partners. I mean, obviously
invisible.
We saw each other and we liked each other and we were friends.
We got along fine.
We got along just great. And worked projects together and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But, not like a man and a woman.
Right.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons, our own personal reasons are maybe like other people's personal things. I mean, everyone has unique ticks that grow up in different families, they grow up in different circumstances, different society, different religion, different everything. So it's like multiple combinations, but the responsibility is your own to become conscious of them. Because what happens to you when you are driven by unconscious programs that you haven't even placed there?
Well, you always do place them there. You always adopt them, but very encouraged, right? So very encouraged by society, or, fear-based or lack-based and that type of thing.
Right. I don't mean to imply you were powerless or a victim to these programs being placed. You clearly, by your choices, brought around a situation or agreed to the situation to allow these programs to be. I mean, you might say, I didn't pick my parents, but guess what?
You did.
You did. Maybe not wisely, but you definitely did.
No, maybe not wisely. Yeah, indeed.
And we know already, I mean, most of us know to some degree, you carry along a lot of the same traits as your parents do in an unconscious way, because human bodies generally copy what they see and are exposed to when they're young, more than what they learn later or read in a book or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. So you picked your parents for a combination of reasons, and whether or not those are the programs that they carry, you carry them.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are good. That's the thing. Many people seem to think that all programs are bad. I mean, I've come to understand that when you say you carry unconscious programs, the default for most people is to assume those are all bad.
Right.
Are they?
No. The whole point of becoming conscious of your programs is that then you can choose which ones to keep and which ones to release. So, and ones you keep, obviously, are positive, right?
Right. Well, how do you know they're positive programs?
Because they serve you. They serve
support you?
Yeah, they support you. They serve what you want out of life.
They support the experience you want in life.
Yeah.
And the bad ones are the ones that limit it or obstruct it.
Obstruct it, yeah.
And, when they're unconscious, you don't have to think about them. You just go through life
and think you're the victim of everything.
Victim of things, but it's your unconscious programs that you've set. And when you become conscious of them, then those things don't even appear anymore.
Right.
Or if they do, you dismiss them right away.
Figure it out.
And through that process, people that you didn't see before become visible.
They do.
Because your unconscious program makes them invisible.
Yeah. I remember the moment when I saw you as a man.
Oh, yes, I am a man, baby.
But I remember the moment that I saw you.
Hair legs on a river or what?
No. It was hilarious.
Inside joke.
Yes. When Larry was flirting with me after I saw him as a man, he sent
I was
me
unconsciously
pictures.
flirting with you.
You were unconscious? Yeah. Jesus, it didn't look like unconscious. Everybody was like, what did he do? Oh my God, did he say that to you?
Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm blushing.
Yes, you are. But I remember the moment.
So tell me.
You don't remember it?
Just tell me. I'll tell you if I remember it after I hear it.
All right. You tell me first. What's the moment when you saw me as a woman?
Oh, it's sort of like when you when you made it clear that you were a woman, then I could see you. Wait a minute. No, I was at a birthday party. Now I remember. It was a birthday party. We had a cabin, and I had dropped my persona, and I had just been myself, how I am, who I am. And at that moment, then I could see you. Yeah. That was interesting.
Do you remember the specific moment?
Yeah, I kissed you on the neck, even though I didn't. I was like, what the hell did I just do? I was like, that was strange.
I think your body hijacked you.
Yep, clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I think, when.
Yeah. And I saw you as a man in the same birthday get together. It was in that cabin, and I parked my car, and you walked from inside the cabin or somewhere. You walked in front of the car. Mm-hmm. You were right in front of it, because I was just in front of the garage door. Mm-hmm. And you walked in front of the garage door, and then suddenly I looked at you. I go, whoa! Larry's a bloke and he's so handsome.
Wow.
I was like, wait.
It's
How
quite
did that happen?
I think it happened because of this.
Noticed?
I think it was this class that.
Yeah, it was. We just
took up all these things.
Yeah, this class definitely had a
powerful.
But it was about a year before that we did the class, and I remember we brought in the class, and then I took it again, listened to it, and did all the exercises myself 2 or 3 times before I saw you. But then I saw you. And the rest is history.
The rest is history, baby.
Uh-huh.
So, that's one thing to think about with that course. What if you already have a relationship?
Well, we're doing it again together, right? That's the other thing. I think the name and it is based on, a lot of the things talk about finding that relationship, but it's not just about finding the relationship in another relationship that you don't already have, because the primary relationship you have to find is the one with yourself and your physical body.
What?
Right? Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
then when you
take this class over again.
Yeah. And then, if you're in a relationship, then if you every once a year or something, you do it. Or in our case, we haven't actually done it for a few years. Then you can revisit and you do the exercises together. So you listen to it together, you pause, you do the exercises together. You just, like the first one is a list, right? Mm-hmm. And then we do the list together. And this list is about falling in love. So we do it together, right? We did the list together. We talked about it and we laughed and, And it was amazing because some of those things, the answers have changed through the years, right? At least for me, I noticed that my answers from the first time we did this course, that my answers have changed through the years to now.
Oh, mine too, definitely. Yeah, I remember at first, there was less of a claiming the relationship as solid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like tenuous at best, maybe.
Right. That
might be the word.
Yeah, tenuous at best.
Right.
But now it's like solid.
Solid.
Yeah.
So like one of the questions you ask yourself in the class is about belonging.
Yeah.
Do you belong to me? Do I belong to you? And claiming ownership of each other's physical bodies and things like that. Those kind of questions.
And heart.
And heart, yeah. And physical body.
And physical body, definitely. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and a few years ago, very apologetic, well, if you really want.
If you really want, it was less...
I don't know, how can I claim you, blah, blah.
Even though I did.
Yes.
But that was the interesting bit, because there's a sense of your body knows better than you sometimes, and sometimes you get in your own way. Mm-hmm. Those are your limiting programs.
Yeah.
And maybe it's your higher self that's the one that knows better, probably.
That too.
And so it tricks your body into just doing.
Right.
And you go, what the heck did I do that for?
Yeah.
Like when I kissed you on the neck, I'm like, where'd that come from? I literally remember doing that and going, what the, I'm going to get in so much trouble.
And what did I do?
I don't think you noticed.
I didn't notice. Not because you were still blind to me.
It was hilarious. It's like, phew, close one. Oh, man. On that, actually, the ownership and things like that is one of the other parts in the class that you talk about that is a little bit uncomfortable, about having one woman with 5 husbands.
Yeah. You don't agree with that, honey?
No. Sorry, genetics or no.
Genetics or no genetics.
I don't care about all that. We ain't getting 4 more husbands.
Okay.
And the 1 man 5 wives thing, I don't want that either.
No, neither do I.
Because of many reasons, but, one of the things that you bring up with that, and we should probably say that that's a thing that's examined in this first class, is this is a statement, and what does that trigger in you?
Exactly,
and you look at these things, because your triggers are your emotional triggers, right?
Yeah.
Those are generally good indicators of what? If you have an emotional charge about something.
Usually a program.
Tells you there's a program running, right?
Exactly.
If you didn't have a program running about it, you wouldn't have any
type of
charge one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. And again, let's go back to programs can be positive and supportive.
It doesn't mean it's bad,
right?
But it is mean there's a program there. So look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we look at that? Let's say for me, I'm not interested in the 1 woman 5 husband thing. Mm-hmm. Do I get a charge about it emotionally? Let's see. In what's the word where it's like pretend world?
Uh-huh.
In pretend world, if I pretend world, no, it doesn't even work there. Yeah, I get a charge there.
You got a charge there.
Yeah.
You don't share well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do have an unconscious program there.
Yeah.
Although, when I look at how do you find that unconscious program? How do you make it conscious? That's probably a good question. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
So we have a list of questions that you can ask yourself, and then you can find the bundle of energy that is a program in your body field, right? It's really important not to go into psychoanalyzing, because often people, because of our culture in the West, they'll do that. It's more to do with finding that bundle, that charge, and then allowing it to exist and everything. And often when you're doing that process, that bundle of energy will talk to you and will show you information.
Well, basically the information is, I don't want 4 more husbands, or I don't want to share my wife.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the program.
Yeah.
Is I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, some people might hear that and say, oh yes, actually, that sounds great.
Great, yeah.
So, I mean, if you're doing this course with another person and you find they have a same answer, guess what? there's some husbands coming, right? Because you move into agreement. Because oftentimes people will carry a societal program also, right?
Yeah.
So the societal program says, no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But both people really, really want that.
Mm-hmm.
They can find a place in a way because they're calm, powerful, conscious creators now.
Exactly, yeah.
So anyway, it's interesting to do it with another person.
It is, yeah.
It's useful to do it by yourself because, you limit yourself.
Right.
But the co-creation of your world, you do make that with those around you.
Mm-hmm.
And you pick them. So illustrating or illuminating your programs together, that's a pretty good idea. That's kind of be nice to see what happens with 30 people and Walk With Me Now doing it simultaneously.
Yeah. And I know some people are buddying up to do this course with just one more person.
Yeah, good study buddies.
Study buddies, yeah. That's really good. And then they get together to discuss it all and
Yeah, so your study buddy, you do your lists together.
Mm-hmm.
You can find things in other people easier than they can find them themselves sometimes, right?
And it doesn't mean that the study buddies are people that are just, flirting with each other or wanted to get together.
But they could be.
It could be, yeah. It might be.
It might be actually good.
We've been thinking about and talking about starting a dating service at Walk With Me Now or connected to iBenz Academy
one
or
of the
something.
Two. Somewhere where high frequency people who have
done
good tools and done work
could
can
get together.
Find people who are, single.
Yeah, exactly.
And interested in not being single.
Exactly. Single and not interested in not being single. That's
right,
the perfect way to put it. Yeah, so we've been thinking about it and I think it's going to go there because especially these days it's so difficult to find compatibility, I mean,
well, it's so difficult to even see compatible partners, honestly, because seems to me...
imagine a dating site that the requirement is to do this course, the Sex, Love and Relationships course, and maybe it's also the rules of engagement,
Mm-hmm.
Just those two, changes everything for the person. That would be awesome, I think, to provide that for people.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Think how much more, what's the word, powerful our tribe, Walk With Me Now, etc., high frequency paradigm people would be if they were to drop some of the negative limitations, negative unconscious programs around relationships.
Yeah.
And had strong, powerful, supporting relationships.
Yes.
Jeez.
Strong homes.
Strong homes.
Yeah. Strong, powerful homes.
That would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we got to put that on our whiteboard.
Yes.
Move it off of the
maybes or
maybe list.
A great idea.
A good idea list.
To start doing it.
We should think about it list. Hey, let's talk about it some more list. Move it off of that list onto the do it now list.
Yes. Good idea. Good idea.
Yeah, I don't know how it'll look, but I think that it's the do it now list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I think so.
Maybe we'll put a link or a thread on the Walk With Me Now for inputs.
Ideas? Yeah.
Inputs about this.
Yeah, I like that.
How it should look, how people think it should look, or the kind of things they would be looking for, or inputs anyway.
Yeah.
So that, that's kind of the point of Walk With Me Now. It's not, I'm going to do this for you now. It's, hey, let's do this together now.
Yeah, let's plan this together now and just execute it together now too.
Cool idea.
I like it.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, 1 woman, 5 hubbies is out the door.
Not for you, not for me.
1 man, 5 wives is definitely out the door.
Yeah.
How about arranged marriages? How do those work in the whole...
Arranged marriages, I had a friend in school who was from India and she had an English boyfriend. But then I remember we were talking about marriage and she said, yeah, my parents are going to find me a husband. We'll probably find someone in India and they'll bring him over. And I'm like, wait, what about, I can't remember his name, let's say Paul. What about Paul? What does he think about this? Because all he knows is just my boyfriend. My parents wanted me to have that experience of falling in love and having a boyfriend. But of course, that's not for life. He understands it completely, and he knows that once I'm old enough and I'm going to be married, it's not going to be him. And I was like, what?
You had an experience like that too yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I talk about that in the course. If you want to find out about my experience of
with an arranged marriage,
yeah, you can listen to the course, man. It's quite intense.
Well, if you were to find yourself in an arranged marriage, or in a marriage that's arranged, I guess you have the society program, the culture you grew up in. That's a component of normal.
Yes.
Right? So maybe from the outside looking in, it doesn't seem
not from the
okay, or it seems whack.
Social engineering that we've had in the West doesn't
have that one. It has a different one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere has different societal structure around relationship and marriage and things like that.
Yeah.
To, I think, probably solidify the cultural experience that's there, right?
Yeah. And the needs of the bodies, really.
Because that's basically what you're here for. I know a lot of people think it's for spiritual advancement or evolution or make your soul figure out what it's doing and all of this kind of things, yeah. Or a school or a training ground or a place you could mess up, or I know the list is pretty long and exhaustive of the reasons
to be alive on
to
Earth.
be on Earth, right?
Yeah.
To change the vibration, to I don't know, you name it. I've heard a lot of them, but they're all bundled in the same actual reason,
which is
the one reason above, or the one reason that encompasses all of the reasons for your experience.
Yes.
Just for experience, and not just, but for experience, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to have the experience of anything, like a persistent dream experience, then that's a good reason to come to Earth. You want to have stuck on the ground and walk around experience, that'd be a good reason to come on Earth. Those are like our preset agreements, which are up for review, I like to think, right? Yes. These set agreements are up for review because part of those agreements have to do with separation, right?
Oh, definitely, yes.
Separation.
It's the illusion of separation.
And light dark and things like that. One thing in the course that was interesting, I thought, was that in order to have a light dark experience, you have to have a separation.
Yes, you do. The illusion of separation is needed for a light dark experience, otherwise you can't have it. It's impossible. Would you torture your hand?
Would I? Well, some people have.
But would you torture your hand? And what would your hand think about it?
Well, if it caught a fish because I needed to grab that string and it got tortured doing it.
No. Would you consciously torture your hand so that your hand would get upset with you?
That doesn't even make sense.
Exactly. It does not make sense. It makes no sense. Oh,
that's your point?
That's the point. It makes no sense.
Separation.
Exactly.
From your hand makes no point.
Exactly.
Makes no sense.
No.
Same with separation from other.
Exactly, other people. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense from a different level of awareness.
Because
from this level of awareness, I definitely want to be separated from all of them over there.
Oh, yes.
And those ones over there too.
That's the illusion of separation because we're in a light-dark paradigm. And you need it. But if you remove the light-dark paradigm, it's just light. There is not that. There's no sense of that separation.
So that brings in the question clearly, right? What is that love relationship? I guess we've got to differentiate between the unconditional love that like angelics carry around with their giant bodies of emotional bodies, and the separated, smaller emotional bodies that we carry that allow us to have some more separation. I suppose that's the way to think of it, right? What happens in a new paradigm where there isn't light dark, it's just light?
So here's the thing, you're still singular. You're still singular construct. Whether you remove all of your negative stuff, right, this moment, right, you remove all of your negative stuff right this very moment, all of your programs and bundles of energies, of fears and everything, all gone, just like that, you are still Larry, right? You're still Larry. But the veil of separation between you as Larry being able to connect with me, Inelia, right? Completely and absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we choose, that veil of separation is gone. So we could, if we chose, do that. Singularly. Right? To
Right.
become one. If we wanted to.
Okay.
Right? And we also can choose just the two of us. Forever, 10,000 lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a joy in that. There's an amazing something on that. Otherwise, that particular construct would not be so prevalent and so hijacked on the planet to control people. Right? The either rejection of it or the desire for it and the pursuit of it wouldn't be hijacked all over the place left, right, and center. Because it is something that like the divine consciousness and divine bodies want to experience. And it's all the other things actually
so
stops us.
So it's singularity and not
Even
separation that you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So we're still singular constructs, but we're not necessarily
experiencing
separate.
Giant separation.
Exactly. So even people who say, oh, well, I don't want to be monogamous, I want to have multiple partners, deep down they're very alone. Right? It's like, oh yeah, but I want to have sex with lots and lots of people.
Excuse me?
Then that is also part of those programs, right? Because if you have sex with lots and lots of people, you deplete yourself and you have all these energetic connections with lots of people and their stuff gets very heavy. I've never met anybody who's happy being like that. I remember when I was about 13, I think I was, we had this family friend who was 18 and he was, I don't know, we would call him like loose, he was a bit loose.
Loose?
Yeah.
He was a slut.
Yeah, he was a bit of a slut, he did tons of one-nighters, and he would go from one girl to another and sometimes 2 or 3 girlfriends at the same time. He was very loose. And then he was sitting in the living room and we were watching TV and he said, Inelia, says, what? He says, when you grow up, I'm going to marry you. And I said, no, you're not. And he says, what? Of course I'm going to marry you. You're perfect. I want you to be my wife when you grow up. And I said, no, but I don't want you as my husband. And he says, but why wouldn't you want me as your husband? I'm perfect. Right? And I'm handsome and I'm a great worker and, I'm great. And I'm not going to talk about that part with you because you're a kid still. But when you grow up, you'll understand. I can please women. Right? And I looked at him and says, well, dude, I said, the reason I wouldn't marry you is because you're covered in gunk from probably hundreds of women. That is so gross and disgusting. I would never go near you. I would not want to live with you at all or be close to you. And his eyes grew really wide and his mouth got open and he just was speechless for about an hour. He couldn't believe that I said that to him. And he was so upset. And then my mom had words with me about how to talk to boys and men. The things that you shouldn't tell men. Oh, and I'm like, well, why? Why not? I don't understand, right? But those are all the type of programming, right? And then, like a year later, he got married and tried to be faithful, did his best, but he failed. And eventually, when I was an adult, he said to me that I was right, that I shouldn't marry any man like him. But it was a disaster because, his marriage lasted 2 years, I think, and then he fell away.
So if he had done this course and done it with his mate, he would have found out that she wasn't like that and he was. You think maybe if he found someone who felt like he does like that, like multiple partners is the way it should be, like we were just talking about, like 5 husbands is a great idea or 5 wives is a great idea, that maybe it would have been better?
Yeah, maybe.
Because do some people like other people's fields mission up along their arrows? You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Some people must.
They must do, yeah.
Must not bother them.
Right. But I know that a lot of people who believe in having multiple partners, they want to be the unique partner of all of those individuals.
The first wife or the first husband or whatever.
Yeah. They want to be the unique one in all of that stuff. So, for example, if a man says, I want to have 5 wives, they don't want each of their wives to have 5 husbands. They want to be the only one for each of those women. And vice versa, right? I've met women who have lovers, right? Or not husbands. Well, yeah, multiple husbands. But they want to be the only one woman to all those husbands or lovers, right? They don't want their men to go off and have relationships with other women. They don't like that. They don't want that. So I find that's quite common, right? And it's strange, right? So, yeah, this course goes into the whole deconstructing of all...
Deconstruct all of that. Why is that
Why
there?
is that happening?
Happening?
Exactly. Why is that happening? Why would that be acceptable to one person and unacceptable to another person? And also the whole construct of how does it feel when you actually do find someone who fits, right? Energetically, emotionally, mentally fits together. Like 2 people fit together, you know. Man and woman, woman and man, woman and woman, whatever it is that the person's interested in, but they fit together really well. And what happens, right? And then what programs do you need to overcome to even see that person, right? Which is what happened to us, right? And that comes later on in the course as well. Deconstruct your filters of impossibles. These people don't exist, I think.
Oh, I know. How many times have you heard that? I was looking for a woman or a man who's high frequency and awake and available and aware and wanting to have a high frequency relationship and study these things that work with on their ascension processes together. But there aren't any.
I know.
It's like one guy says that, and then the next thing is a girl says the same thing. It's like, did you guys two know you said the same exact thing?
Yeah.
But you obviously can't tell them. And even if you did,
it
seems like they can't hear it.
No, they don't hear it.
Until you do the work, I guess, until you... It's like no amount of words changes it. It comes from you, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes from you, all the words help you along.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, it's there. But you can't impose it on someone. Right. So there would be a tendency, yeah?
Yeah, so the other part of that programming is that, for example, naturally speaking, especially if we're going to start a family, the person will want a partner who is strong so that they're good health, right? And physically strong so they can carry the shopping or the babies or whatever's, right? Pets and whatnot. And carry their own weight in the relationship, right? So they will look for that. But if society has taught them that, let's say, a strong man or a strong woman is a bully, then they will only be attracted to bullies. Not knowing that that's not actually strength.
That's an unconscious program.
That's the unconscious program, yeah.
Right.
So the actual program that's positive is find a strong partner in life.
Right.
You have a better chance of survival, better chance of happiness, and live life being long and beautiful if you have a strong partner. But if the society has taught them that strong people are bullies, then they will marry a bully and it will go sideways and bad very quickly. Right?
Right. Because sometimes big government wants to be the dad or the other partner, you know. It's sort of like religion, right?
Yeah.
You're married to Jesus or something,
or the church.
Church or whatever takes the first priority on your...
Yeah.
that overrules your other stuff. Yeah. It's interesting how society is engineered.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
almost transparent. Like, if you didn't look, you wouldn't know. You would think that's just the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
How many of those assumptions do you think we have?
Oh, thousands and millions.
Oh my gosh. It almost feels overwhelming sometimes when you look at it. But as you go through the list and you start chinking away at them, you know, the interesting part
What?
is it's a process, not a happens.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And as you start tackling them, that becomes easier.
It does.
And as you run across something and you find yourself in a situation and you recognize, oh, it's me,
Mm-hmm.
then you go, what am I doing and why?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Do you want to keep doing this? It's almost like, now you can say yes, no.
Exactly.
You have buttons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I kind of like not having 4 extra husbands in this. I'll keep that one on. How about this one? Oh, no, I'm not going to be a jealous jerk. I'll turn that one off. I don't need to be that for the other.
Yeah.
They don't need to be linked.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah, pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Becoming conscious, basically, that's it.
Yeah.
The thing that old society doesn't like about being conscious is basically when you're conscious about things, you're not easily controlled.
Correct.
It's not that you're impervious, though, right?
You can become impervious to control.
You can become impervious?
Yes. If you become aware enough, your expansion of awareness is deep enough.
And probably you have more
Good
than
allies.
yourself. You're not all alone.
Good allies, yeah.
All alone people less likely.
They're very vulnerable all alone. No matter how awake you are, if you're alone and to keep yourself alone, you become very vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
But,
that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Because you can spin
you
yourself
have good
in.
allies and good counsel.
They can...
When you fall down a little bit, people will let you know.
Tick, tick, tick.
Inelia.
Knock, knock.
Do you know that? Blah, blah,
Did you
blah.
know?
Oh, I didn't
Well,
realize. Yeah. Thank you for showing me that.
So that's powerful tribe.
Yes.
Yes.
Powerful tribe.
It's an interesting conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing what comes out of, we just listened to the first hour and 15 minutes of the first class. And it's amazing how much comes through. That first hour is kind of funny too, because the first hour is so dense with stuff. I filled up 2.5 sheets of paper
Just
with
tiny
small
little
writing
notes.
in little tiny boxes, all of the little points that I wanted to not forget. Taking notes and
Yeah.
making some of the lists and things like that. And I still had 40 minutes left of the class. So I had to flip it over onto the written pages of it and start trying to find blank spots in there to put stuff. It was quite funny. And toward the end, I was almost at saturation. And I remember that from the class.
Yes.
It's like at some point in there, your saturation level is full. You're fully
full.
saturated.
Yeah.
Trying to stuff more in, it's like, it's almost like you have to take something out of the bottom to put some more in the top. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So you'd said that you were trying or planned to do it in one class, but it wasn't going to fit in one class. And
then when you went to 12 classes.
it went to 12 classes.
And then
So
it's
now
like,
it's
no, that's not going to work
that won't
either.
work either.
Mm.
That's kind of cute. So it's 6 classes.
Yes.
In
but
one
they
group.
are very concentrated. Each one is packed and packed.
It's dense like the Angel
Yes.
book. The Angel book is dense like
Very,
that.
very dense, yes.
I remember, that one I remember an Angel book being pushed emotional body-wise and pushed conceptual of universe-wise way outside of my regular world, regular conscious state, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool part.
Yeah.
What else is on your mind, honey?
Let's talk about marriage.
Marriage?
Yeah. Silence.
Put a ring on it.
Put a ring on it if you like it.
If you like it, put a ring on it.
Yeah.
Okay, marriage. I mean, we're speaking about marriage in relation to love, or marriage in relation to... The reason I say that is one of the things when the first time I got married, I mean, the reason was at the time, because if I didn't get married, we wouldn't have a place to live together.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Coast Guard at the time.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend / fiance at the time and my cat were living with me in my shared bachelor housing, and my bachelor roommate didn't mind because, guess what?
Yeah,
His fiance girlfriend was living there too. So, we had a very fine arrangement. The Coast Guard doesn't really care, but if the other person cares, then the Coast Guard cares.
Right.
Or something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's they do care and you're not allowed to, but both of us did and nobody told, so it was good. Mm-hmm. Well, I had to get a new roommate because my roommate got married. So then he got a new house with his wife, and I had a new roommate. My new roommate, he was very particular. Uh-oh. He had his own salt and pepper shakers in the cupboard, and when he'd go to sea, he had a line on his stuff, so you don't use his salt, things like that. Yeah. Or his sausages in the freezer or whatever. Plus, he didn't really like animals, and he definitely didn't like living with somebody else's girlfriend in the house. Uh-huh. So he told on me right away. So the decision was either get married or
say goodbye to your
girlfriend. Say goodbye to your girlfriend and your cat. So
very interesting reasons for getting married, huh?
Well, I didn't hate her, obviously.
Of course not. They wouldn't be your girlfriend. Although you'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
Some of the programs are running that people can stick with.
Well, it was a pressure of the social engineering type at that, because the military wanted you married.
Of course.
Because married means
more dependable.
Well, you're working for someone else too, and you're responsible for someone else too. And so instead of you're just working for your let's go have fun guys, which it's not a strong why actually. It designs in a stronger why, and when you have that stronger why, then you want a house, then you get a loan, you want to buy a car, you want to buy stuff together. Yeah. Buy stuff together. Then you're more dependent on your employer basically, which is the military, because they ask you to do things that you don't really particularly want to do.
Exactly, yeah.
And their structure is to get you to do what they want you to do, irrespective of what you want to do about it.
Exactly, yeah.
So these are part of why they have that. Tool, yeah. It's a good tool and it works. Mm-hmm. But, so there's other reasons to get married, like status and name. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And joining a family.
Oh, yeah.
And security and support.
Yep.
And
green card.
Moving, immigration.
Yeah.
Future.
Genetics.
Yep. Yeah, you might want the best genes you can find. Yep. Those are reasons to get married. Well, it's a union. There's also love. That's a reason to get married, because
love.
Yeah. So are any of those reasons more important than others?
Not really.
I know a lot of people would argue with that, I would think.
Well, Western people would argue that love is the basis of a marriage.
Right.
But what is love? And you have to define that and deconstruct it and then realize and go deeply into what it actually is.
Right, because falling in love is most often hijacked by religions, cults, royals, etc., etc., etc.
And also by falling in lust.
And lust too.
Yes.
Which is your physical body.
Exactly, your physical body wants.
Which was originally programmed to self-replicate.
Exactly, yeah.
Because more is better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More hands makes light work.
So
when you're going to have babies to make more hands.
Exactly, yeah. So a lot of things,
Yeah, there's a lot of
things. Yeah.
So for you, what did marriage mean?
Marriage, to me personally?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
What did it mean?
When?
I'm sure it evolved. The first time you got married, for example.
Oh, the first time, I actually had no programs around marriage, like zero. And the other person wanted to get married. So because I had no programs around this, like, sure, what else,
So for you, it was married or not married, doesn't matter?
Didn't matter, like zero. It had no
significance?
No significance at all. Doing pizza or spaghetti, right?
Boy, I bet you were like a tough wedding partner. You want to get married? I don't care.
Exactly. Well, I care. Sure.
Okay, then let's do it.
That's it. That was it, yeah.
What kind of program do you think is running on the other side that they would want to get married to someone who doesn't care? Or is that the wrong word, don't care?
But they did care.
I know they cared, but where does it say? What program do you think they had running about marriage?
Oh, I know what programs they were running.
What were those?
I then will own this person. I can do whatever they want to them, and they can't leave me.
Wow. You should have looked at that first.
Well, he wasn't like that before we got married.
Well, I'm saying you should have probably done this class together and found out that was why he wanted to get married before you got married.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Don't you think?
Oh, of course. If this course had been out then, I would have taken it.
And you would have checked why he wanted to get married before you got married to him first?
Yeah. And it would have been more than it's because it's important to me. Then it would have been, why is it important to you? What does it mean to be married?
It mean to be married, yeah.
Yeah, I would have asked all those questions. But I was 18.
When you're 18, you already know all those answers.
Yeah.
Those are the...
You know everything.
Yeah. Gosh. I wish I still knew everything. No, I'm glad I don't know. I'm glad I don't know everything now.
I know, right? It's awesome.
Such a relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, if all reasons for getting married are more or less equally important or unimportant, love being one, safety another, this another, job, moving, green cards, etc., 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 how is marriage then connected to relationship? You know, this love, sex, and relationship type of thing. Is marriage even a part of it? Obviously is.
Of course.
It has to be, right?
Yeah.
You don't marry your big toe and say, hey, let's go to Hawaii, big toe.
Oh, you took a book from my library before we got together called My Big Toe, and you never gave it back.
Yes, I did.
No.
I gave it back when you moved in with me. It's on my bookshelf. That's your bookshelf. That's yours.
That's true.
It's in a box in storage right now.
Very good. Yeah.
That's Big Toe's theory of everything, by the way.
Yeah, the theory of everything.
Which is many times too thick to read all of it.
Yeah, and tiny little writing. You need like a magnifying glass to read the writing. It's a massive book, really, really thick, with tiny little writing in it and pictures.
If you really want to know about everything, well, here you go.
Yes, theory of everything. TOE.
Your big toe.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the point. The connection between sex, love, relationship, course, marriage, and all of these reasons that are equally important. I think the part that I can drill into see is that complementary important. Complementary reasons. The reasons to get married that are complementary
and
are supportive.
And supports you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Plus marriage, I haven't found a culture that doesn't have a marriage ritual in it. And often this marriage ritual will involve other people and a declaration of the couple being a couple. Now, even if the culture says that the couple is married for 2 years and that's it, or whether the culture says they can have 10 spouses each, or if the culture says it's like a forever one, that's their souls getting married, right? Or if it's the two families are getting married. They're all different, right? Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen of a culture that doesn't have a marriage ritual, which is interesting, isn't it?
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a non-human. I mean, how do birds and fish and dogs and things like that?
It's a generalization because there's many birds who do a ritual that they get together and other birds watch, and then they know those are forever together forever. And often when one of those birds dies, the other one dies soon after because it's over, mm-hmm. right? I've seen I've watched the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, me too.
And the same with some mammals, there's some animals that do the same. And they have this ritual and a dance and everything, and they get together and that's it, But then some other mammals that don't. Like they have nothing, they just mate randomly or through hierarchy, like the alphas mate and nobody else or whatever, right? But Yeah, it's all extremely different.
I think that if I look and I trace, I've seen one of the more common reasons for the ritual that's public ritual is the public memory, because the consequences of violating that marriage vow type thing is usually deadly. It can be very deadly. People fight when that's violated. Mm-hmm. Probably even more so when there were stronger churches or stronger social groupings. Mm-hmm. So, for example, our tribe doesn't have writing, but it has songs and it has cultural memory through the potlatch system. Yeah. So if you get married, you have a potlatch, and everyone that comes to it, in a sense, gets to see and witness the thing.
Right.
And their responsibility is to remember it.
Right.
Your responsibility is to have a big enough thing that everybody remembers it. Yeah. So kind of like self-propelling system, right?
Yeah.
So a marriage ceremony is basically you telling everybody who's in your circle and around your circle, hey, we are married. So don't be messing with my wife. Don't be messing with my husband.
Right.
So you can't pretend you don't know. Kind of like that.
Right.
Because constant fighting like that wouldn't be conducive to more human bodies, more hands. Mm-hmm. It would disrupt it.
Yeah.
That's kind of why it's kind of interesting how these things originate, but how they've taken a different meaning in a different era, but they still persist.
They persist through time and space. Yeah.
Like the short roast thing, in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
Cutting
Can
the
you
ends
tell
off
that
the
story?
roast. Yeah. That was a story I read. I read. So, this woman is showing on a YouTube channel or something how to cook a roast. Uh-huh. And she gets the roast out and she cuts the ends off of the roast and sticks it in the oven and says, here's a nice yummy roast. And husband asks, why do you cut the ends of the roast off? And she says, well, that's how my mom did it.
Yeah.
She said, always cut the ends off the roast. So he
That's
said,
why.
yeah, but why? I mean, okay, you do that, but why? How does that make it more tender or something or anything? So I don't know. I'll ask my mom. So we asked her mom, and guess what the mom said?
I know what the mom said.
Tell me.
She said, well, when you were growing up, we were poor. We had a very small roasting tin, so I had to cut the ends off so it would fit into the tin.
Yes. Oh my God. That was the funniest story ever. So, some things are just there because
the roasting tin
no
is
good
really
damn
small
reason.
And your oven's really
There's
small.
no reason besides a very practical, literal reason.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. So find the programs, find the reason why you cut the roast with both ends.
Be curious.
Be curious. Become very curious. Is that coyotes? Did I say coyote? I said the word coyote.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think it is. So dogs are coyotes.
Dogs are coyotes. What could it be, PB?
Dogs.
I think it's dogs.
It's dogs.
Somebody's tied up and don't want to be tied up. Oh, I know. PB's going to get them.
Oh. All right, I feel complete. How do you feel?
Yeah, PB's put in an exclamation point on the end.
Yes, she did.
Get the book.
Get the book.
The angel book.
Yeah, Interview with an Angel.
Interview. PB. PB. Get with the program here. Interview. Does she think I'm barking or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Interview with an angel. And get the class.
Yes. Love, sex, and relationships in the new paradigm.
Yes.
Boom.
Join your tribe and get powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right. Love you, babe.
Love you too, darling.